Hello and welcome to my channel, Soul Dive Tarot. Today we'll be looking at what fears do you need to confront. So it's going to be quite a straightforward reading. What fears do you need to confront within you? Before we begin, if you'd like to book a personal reading with me, the link will be in the description box below. So we have 3 piles here. This is pile 1 with the Pilgrim card. This is pile 2 with the 1 card. And this is pile 3 with the thread card. Whichever pile you are drawn to will be your reading. So you can pause the video if you need to and take as much time you need reflecting on which pile is yours. If you are drawn to 2 piles, then there may be a message for you in the second pile. The timestamps for each pile will be in the description box below. So I'll see you in your pile. Bye. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the Pilgrim card, this is your reading. Today we'll be looking at what fears do you need to confront. So what fears that are deep within you that you need to face. So this reading will help you face these fears and hopefully begin your healing journey with these fears. So we have tarot cards and oracle cards. Your first card is 5 of Wands. The Star card. Page of Pentacles. 10 of Cups. Grounding. Child. Woman. Here, let me just adjust these cards for you. Okay, that's better. Now, okay, I'm seeing a few fears here. One of them is a fear of being a beginner, a fear of doing things on your own, and therefore having to learn by yourself or learn how to do things not really independently, but learn how to do things your way. You have a fear that if you let yourself be yourself, it will clash with others. So by being too independent, you will stray further and further from others. And you have this fear that you can't maintain harmony when being pushed to be unique or to be a beginner, because another thing that comes with it when you're moving away from help or from other people or other people's guidance is you start feeling like a beginner. You start feeling like you're not sure what you're doing. So I think one of your fears that you need to confront is going at it alone. Starting a business the way that you want it to start it, for example, or dressing how you want to dress, something like that. You're worried you're going to just float away, really. Like You're worried you're just going to drift off and become so different from others that it's going to be hard for you to come back and join people again, or it's just going to create conflicts. So you have that fear. There is a fear that you may become ungrounded and just get lost in your own world, really. I'm seeing a bit of that. Yeah, I think that you have a fear of not having guidance, of not being told what to do, being told which direction to go in, or not getting sufficient advice. You think that you may end up doing things differently, weirdly, in a way that other people won't understand. So this is that fear. So I'm seeing that with a few of these cards, you are afraid you're going to sort of leave in a new direction and never come back, never be relatable to the group anymore, whichever group this is, family, friends. Maybe the fear is ruining, like disrupting the peace by, like the peace of the group, the harmony of the group, by doing things your way. And with the child card, you don't feel skilled enough to do this too. So what this fear surfaces as a limiting belief that you don't feel ready enough. You need to learn a bit more before starting. So it manifests consciously as this fear. Yeah, you're worried you're going to end up too different, too far away from others, too lofty, too much in the air, and not being practical, or not fitting in with society or with the group, a family group or a friend group or a work group. I don't know which one. Or just the greater society, like the greater whole. So yeah, you have ideas, but you don't know what to do with them. You have fears that, well, consciously you start telling yourself that you're not worthy of walking a path alone because you lack organization or whatever excuses that you've given yourself. And also you've never tried it before. You've never really tried it before, so part of you is sort of, there is a part of you also that wants to keep the peace. I'm thinking that you suppress parts of yourself to try to keep the peace. You don't want to look too much into a particular ideology or a particular unique way of expressing yourself. You don't want to, because you don't want to expose how different you are, because you feel that it's going to cause trouble. You don't want to expose the unique sides of you. So that's definitely a fear. Another fear is that comes with this, it's just simply what comes with this whole situation, is that you start fearing expressing your emotions, because your emotions are, maybe you feel like your emotions are immature or not fully developed because you haven't expressed them too much. I don't know, I'm just getting with the Pilgrim, like symbolically you're afraid to walk alone. Symbolically, obviously. And with that comes not being able to express your emotions too. You fear that you are too ungrounded and you need guidance. You feel like you need guidance. You need to be told what to do. You need to be told how to do it normally, quote, normally. Like, this is just something like, I'm getting that you probably think that there's a way that society does it and there's the weird way that you do it. And you need to be suppressed. You need to be controlled so that you don't drift off. So that you don't just do things strangely in the strange ways that you want to do it. So there is 2 more oracle cards. You have Emotions Are Running High, Supermoon. And you have Cutting Through. Wow. Yeah, with these next 2 cards, I'm reading the Supermoon card as this fear of, and also cutting through, this fear of things getting out of hand when you do open up and express yourself more. And this is probably a little bit valid. You've probably experienced, with the Cutting Through card, you've probably experienced people creating dramas around you. And for you, you believe it's because of the way you are, because you were too sort of not concentrated. Yeah, like there is something childlike about you, and this is a good thing, but other people have taken advantage of it. Your fear is being too childlike, so to try to control this fear, this may resonate with some people. Consciously, you try to sort of keep things hidden from people, keep track of how people are reacting to things, and sort of overanalyzing social situations as well. That may be an issue for you. For others, that may not resonate. For others, this is the treatment that other people have given you. So people have taken sort of information about you and changed it, sort of used it against you. And with Emotions Are Running High, it's usually quite a positive card. So I think the fear is, I think another fear that comes with this entire topic actually that I didn't touch on before was you start making yourself small because you perhaps you have a big presence, or you probably have skills that people are maybe jealous of, because this side of you that is unique or almost childlike and things like that, that's actually a very that's something that people may be very jealous of. You're worried of shining your light too much. You dim your light, you just keep yourself a little small. And relationships around you seem a bit foggy now because of this fear. It starts becoming about competition, jealousy, things like that. So this fear of sort of having unique stances or something like that. You're worried you'll be pushed aside. And you've experienced sort of how people react to this thing. So I guess the resolution of this fear is to push through with the Cutting Through card, push through this fear, or push through the reaction that people have around you about this yeah, it might be time to push through it. Yeah. So we'll be pulling out advice cards. What advice do you need for this fear? So what's the best course of action with this fear? We have 10 of Wands. Interesting. We have the Empress. And we have the 5 of Cups. So I think your advice with the 10 of Wands is to really push through. If being yourself comes with this burden, you need to carry it. So I was correct with the cutting through card to push through a little bit. With the 5 of Cups, I am seeing, it's strange because it is true that you need to express yourself more with the Empress, but maybe some parts of you do need to be kept hidden as well. Maybe it is true some people do not deserve to know exactly like too much about you. With the Empress card, it could just mean that for advice, I'm just going to throw advice out there, is it could mean that you do need to look into nature or have a change of scenery or start expressing yourself with the way you dress and start from there. That's just a place to start to begin to open up a little bit more and be yourself a little bit more. And things like getting in touch with, creativity. So expressing yourself creatively and in the way that you dress will help you a lot, actually. So if you have any creative hobbies, that will help you a lot with the advice here. I think you will feel much more fulfilled if you just carry this burden and push through it. This fear of being seen, it's causing you to suppress yourself, to dim your light, and then it's causing you to be a little bit miserable. But I think you'll find happiness by pushing through this, actually. By pushing through this and expressing yourself more. You can start with the way that you dress. Yeah, with the 5 of Cups, either it's saying that you should keep a few things secret. They don't have to see the inner you. It is quite true that people may just see the way you dress and make assumptions, but they don't have to see the inner you. They don't have to be in touch with that. They don't have to know about it. So I think that's all I'm seeing for advice and for your fears. So I hope you enjoyed your reading, Power 1. If you'd like to support my channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to book a reading with me, the link will be in the description box below. And I'll see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, Power 2. If you chose the 1 card, this is your reading. Today we'll be looking at what fears do you need to confront. So any fears and things like that you maybe are not conscious about, this reading will help bring them to light and start maybe your healing journey. And anything like how conscious you are of them and so on. So we have tarot cards and oracle cards. Your first card is Knight of Wands, Queen of Wands, the Hanged Man, Five of Pentacles, New Day, Garden, and Cross. Let me just adjust these cards for you. Okay, I think you have really unique cards, and your fears could go a few ways. So some of you have a fear that you will become too prideful, and that therefore you need to be humbled. There's a self-sacrificial sort of behavior that comes with this, and there's sort of like you're worried you'll be separated from a group. There is something like that. So I think some of you are very attractive, very charming and confident. Yeah, at the same time, I think you have trouble connecting with others. You humble yourself a lot because you sort of fear of, it's similar to pile one in a way, but this one's a little different. This is like fear of sort of putting too much attention to yourself. You don't want to be the leader of a group or something like that. You fear being stuck up. You try to humble yourself. You sacrifice your time. You sacrifice your connection with the group a little bit to try to humble yourself. You try to just stay neutral and detached. You try to stay neutral and detached when deep down maybe you want this connection. Yeah. Because with the one card, it either connects people or it excludes. So we have the Garden, which is about connecting with others, and then we have the Five of Pentacles, which is about being left, being separated from shelter, from others, from help. So not only am I seeing your fears, I'm seeing like the conscious reaction to your fears, how this plays out consciously, which is that you become sort of, you punish yourself a bit. You feel like you're holding this big, like you're sacrificing yourself and you're holding a big burden on you. You dim your optimism, your desire to connect to the group together. You really suppress that. You're afraid of letting that out. Your leadership, you're afraid of letting that out. and you just act neutral. You just sacrifice yourself for others. By keeping yourself a little contained, not trying to assert yourself too much. You feel like you'll end up you feel like you will end up being too prideful in your relationships, and then you start sacrificing yourself for others to try to humble yourself. You try to humble yourself a lot. Yep, so we'll be getting out your extra oracle cards because it was a bit of a challenging reading, this one. So you have Don't Let Pride Get in Your Way, full moon in Leo. And Easy Progress. With these cards, I'm definitely actually seeing that your fear is sort of being a leader too, and bearing that responsibility, because with Easy Progress, it appears to me that you are a very good leader and you're dimming your light and your strength out of fear of being seen as sort of telling people what to do or something like that. Or perhaps other people have dimmed your light. Other people have made you feel like you are too bossy, too confident, arrogant, something like that. Yeah, some people have told you that maybe, and it became a fear of yours. You're afraid to be considered arrogant, but you have quite a good skill in leadership. You have quite a good skill in talking to others and bringing groups together. You're actually quite extroverted and quite optimistic. Yeah, so this is an interesting reading. I've never really seen something like this, a situation play out like this. So I think you're suppressing your extroverted leadership, optimistic, motivated side, and you're pushing yourself too much into sort of self-sacrificing. You don't want to be seen as arrogant. You don't want to be seen as this person telling everyone what to do. You act neutral, but the people around you actually need someone who is decisive. So you haven't stepped into that state. You haven't. So this may come as a surprise to some of you. So this may be something deeply suppressed for some, or maybe this is something that you knew, of course, but it appears that this is deeply suppressed for some. This side of you that wants to be decisive, that is decisive and clear about what they want. So you're staying in a neutral stage, and perhaps you think that it's a good thing. You're self-sacrificial. You're maybe spiritual. You're bringing people together by pushing yourself aside. You know what I mean? There's some theme like that. But you're actually not bringing people together like that. You need to use your skill. You're very good. You're a very good leader. You're very optimistic, social. And I think you're not acting, but you're leaning towards being less social because of this fear of being arrogant and this fear of, or maybe the responsibility of being a leader as well. That could be for some of you the responsibility that comes with it. Being responsible for everyone in a group, and what decisions that, or the things that they move towards. So yeah, I think you need to understand that you're not going to end up telling people what to do, and you don't need to do that to be a leader. You just need to shine your optimism. You need to let your optimism and your social side come out a bit more. Yeah, this is a unique thing, unique fear. And by letting that side of you come out, you'll lead by example. You're just influential. You're just someone who people want to be around. So that's not, you will never end up arrogant in that way. I actually recorded advice cards for you, pile 2, but the file has now been corrupted and lost. So my apologies for that. That will be all for you, pile 2. Hope you enjoyed your reading. If you would like to support my channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, the link will be in the description box below. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Hello, pile 3. If you chose the thread card, this is your reading. Today we'll be looking at what fears do you need to confront. So any fears that you maybe are not aware of, or maybe you are aware of it, but any fears that need to be brought to the surface and healed. So this reading will identify which fear that is. We have tarot cards and oracle cards. Your first card is the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Cups. The 4 of Swords. The 3 of Swords. You have integration. You have the Tower. You have Bear. We just fix these cards a little. I think your fear is that you're afraid of facing the darker sides of you, like negative emotions. You're afraid of the change that will occur from that. You're not sure who you are other than this sort of negative state, because in this negative state, I'm not sure if it's just feeling stuck or depression or anxiety. In this negative state, you feel that it defines who you are because it shows what you went through. I think in a way you're afraid to face this and heal it. You would rather stay in the same place. A lot of these cards saying that you would rather keep yourself here, keep yourself in the same place that you are in now. You're afraid of taking the step to try to heal this inner trauma or any sort of negative emotions that you do not want to face. Well, in a way you face it because you admit this negativity to yourself. But it's like you're not sure what will be on the other side. You're not sure who you would be without this negativity, without this identification with your trauma. You're worried you won't be recognized. So you stay in your safe place. You just stay in this safe place. And you don't want to change anything. You don't want to heal through this trauma because you identify with it too much. It's part of who you are. You're worried that you will erase a part of who you are. So that's why you're worried you're worried about facing it. That's why you don't want to face this thing. You don't want to heal it or change it in any way. Because you think to yourself, well, who am I going to be without this? Who am I going to, who am I without this situation that has affected me so much? It's who I am now. And you're worried about that by healing it. You're not sure who you're going to be when you're happy or when you're open or when you've moved on. You're not sure what's on the other side. It's too mysterious to you. So your fear is in facing a deep trauma and a deep pain. And what's interesting about this reading is it doesn't matter exactly what this is, whether it's just wanting to stay in the same place or not wanting to face a trauma or depression or some sort of anxiety that you have. Maybe you've had it since you were little and this is all you know. The point of this reading is this focus on your fear of just facing any sort of negative emotions or anything that you believe will change who you are. Because you think to yourself, well, if I heal this, like I said, how am I going to look when I'm happy? I don't know. How am I going to look when I've moved on from this? So you'd rather stay in the same place. It feels safe for you. Sort of the darkness feels safe for you with the thread card. It's all you know. You're used to it. You're just so accustomed to it. It's part of who you are now. That's how you feel. If you feel as if it is part of who you are. And you're worried, like, what? Well, do I just forget about it to move on? You're worried that you have to forget about this to move on. So with the Nine of Swords I'm seeing, you're worried that, you think to yourself, I can't help it. This is what I went through. This is how I'm going to act. This is who I am. This is... Because, like, in a way, you have faced it. You know that you've been through difficult times. You know that you've always had depression or anxiety or something like that, maybe since you were young, for some of you. Maybe since you were little. And you've faced it in a way, but you haven't sort of taken it and moved on or healed from it. So your fear is that your pain will not be recognized if you heal and move on from it. So your fear is that you will lose part of who you are and you'll never get it back. So yeah, I have two additional oracle cards here. We have conclusions are within reach, full moon eclipse. And we have repairing the damage. These cards are 100% confirming what I've been getting your entire reading. These are very interesting cards. So with repairing the damage, it is saying that something's wrong, something's damaged, something's not right, and you need to prepare yourself, lift yourself up, prepare yourself to face it and to uproot this issue that's causing problems. It needs to be uprooted. It needs to be taken out of you. So this stuck, stagnant emotion needs to be taken out of you. And your fear is of exactly that, of facing it, of facing this stuck, stagnant emotion. One thing I didn't mention is you may feel very isolated as well. You feel safe and comfortable in your isolation. That's another thing that I wasn't getting before. With the bear card, the tower, and the thread, I'm seeing you feel very safe in this isolation. You don't want any of this to change. You feel that no one understands you and no one will understand you. So with conclusions are within reach, that's also something, a fear that you have is of this topic to just be conclude and just disappear. So with conclusions are within reach, full moon eclipse. This card urges us to forgive and let go. So it urges us to remember what we are meant to do. So it urges us to remember what we're doing. So in a few cards have said that as well. I've pointed towards that as well. It's almost like you are in a state of forgetfulness about who you are, because you're thinking that this is all who you are, but it isn't. There is more to you and you've forgotten. You've forgotten maybe the positives. Another thing is you feel like you won't be recognized by others. Maybe someone here, for some of you, someone needs to acknowledge their role in this situation and the pain that they caused. And your fear is that they're going to continue ignoring it if you heal and move on. So you would prefer to stay in your isolation. You would prefer to continue to be upset. And in continuing to be upset, you show the other person that they made a huge effect on you. So your fear comes from this dynamic of trying to be recognized, trying to be acknowledged for what you went through and the pain that you went through. That's sort of the root of this fear. Yeah, another thing is safety. So it's just something that you're used to. Maybe you tell yourself, I've always felt this way. I've always been like this. And yeah, perhaps the advice, I haven't even gotten into the advice cards yet, but perhaps the advice is that this is not true. This is not always who you were. So I'm going to get a few cards out for advice for you. How to deal with this fear, advice regarding how you can acknowledge and face this fear. Let's see what advice you have. We have the Six of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, the Hierophant, the advice here definitely is to gather support from others. So I think because you've been in such a stagnated state, with the Knight of Swords, it's saying any movement is good movement. So any movement in the direction of facing your pain is good. So any little thing that you do is good. And another thing is you need to experience sort of help from others, because perhaps you are quite independent with these cards. You're used to isolation. It doesn't affect you that much, or it doesn't appear to affect you. You need help from others. You need people connecting with you, and people who are able to reach out and show that they can help you and show their value and their skill in helping you. Yeah, what the Hierophant is saying, learn all you can about this issue that you have. So whether it's studying trauma or even studying the spiritual texts, which may show what makes a person happy as well, you need to learn that it's not that different. You need to learn a bit more. And whether this be about the trauma and how it affects people and so on, you need to learn more about that, or parental dynamics and so on, childhood, attachment, anything regarding that, you need to learn. And any step forward makes a huge difference. With this advice, any step forward makes a huge difference. You're going to need either people supporting you or teaching you about these things, or, well, your own research, so the internet, books, and so on. You need to learn all that you can about this. It's a perfect step forward from here in facing your fears. Yep. So I think that's all the advice I have for you, Pile 3. I hope you enjoyed your reading, and I'm wishing you the best of luck in this situation. As always, if you would like to support my channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. It means the world to me. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, the link will be in the description box below. And I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.